Hello, dear fans, friends, and subscribers. This is your host Ram here, who is going to do a weekly roundup of the cricket that happened this week. Now, there are three test matches that are happening, so I'm going to talk about that, and time permitting, we will get on to the other ones. But first, the three test matches that are happening is one is West Indies against New Zealand, where it has been a rain-hit test match. The West Indies versus New Zealand, the first test match, and other than that, Sri Lanka versus New Zealand was the one which was the rain-hit test match. And that is the Sri Lanka versus New Zealand. As you know, it's the second test match, not the first test match. It's the second test match after Sri Lanka won the first test match against New Zealand. And West Indies versus India, where India definitely, one could say, are in the lead right now. And as far as England and Australia are concerned, Australia are definitely, they have set England a target of 359 runs to win the test match. And Aussies, one probably thinks that they are closer to regain the urn. But we'll come to that. But first, let's look at this. As I said, I will first go through these three test matches that are happening this week, and then we will dive into some cricket news as well. But first, let's look at the Sri Lanka versus New Zealand. So, as far as Sri Lanka versus New Zealand were concerned, as I said, today was the third day's play, but even the first innings is not yet over, with Sri Lanka actually batting first and being bowled out for 244. Now, this was a pitch at Gal, which was definitely helping the quicker bowlers, and we definitely saw that into effect. Karunaratne carved a sort of a he carved an innings of 65, the captain, and then we had Tirumane out for 2, Mendes was out for 32, Matthews was out for 2, Pereira not, but Dhananjay De Silva played a wonderful innings. He picked up his fifth test century, and this was an innings which initially started off in a sort of a really building effort, but later on Dhananjay De Silva definitely accelerated. He started using his feet beautifully to the spinners, and he went on to pick up his fifth test century. That was 109, which he hit with. He had 16 fours and 2 sixes in that. That will give him a lot of confidence, because Dhananjay De Silva is someone who has not been able to find his place permanently in the Sri Lankan team, as we all know. Dikwala was out for naught, Pereira for 13, Lakmal for 10, Mbuldini for naught, Kumara not out 5. 244 all out. The bowling, as I said, was all about the quicker bowlers of the Gal, where the pitch was definitely helping the quicker bowlers. 3 wickets for 75 for Trent Boult. Tim Southee went on to his 250 test wickets, 4 for 63 his returns. Trent Boult has already reached his 250 test wickets. Tim Southee is on the verge of reaching his 250 test wickets. And what a coincidence that both these bowlers, who are the opening bowlers for New Zealand, are together going to be at 250 test wickets. They have operated in tandem for quite a long time, and it's only fitting that both Tim Southee and Trent Boult end up with 250 test wickets in this particular test match. The bowling, and another 1 wicket was shared between Granholm Somerville and the spinner Ajaz Patel. Somerville also the off spinner. Now, New Zealand on the third day, with the rain, as I said, frequently interrupting the proceedings here at Gal, where New Zealand actually finishing at 196 for 4. But in this 196 for 4, there was an innings of absolute note, and that was opener Tom Latham. The wickets were falling, but Tom Latham was really holding the innings up, and he played a wonderful innings. And now Tom Latham, with his 10th century, which was not out on 111 with 10 boundaries, this was his 10th century in Test cricket. Now I'm told that it has come as a surprise, but nevertheless, I'm told that John Wright is the one who holds the record of scoring 12 centuries in Test cricket, if my stats are right. So Tom Latham is just one or two centuries shy of getting onto that record and becoming the highest century maker for New Zealand, Tom Latham. Williamson was out for 20. Lairo Kumara produced a very good delivery to Williamson, and Williamson was gone. Taylor was out for 23. Henry Nichols for 15. BJ Watling has already surpassed Brendan McCullum's record and has now taken the top spot as a New Zealand wicketkeeper in New Zealand Test history, as the one to have scored the maximum number of runs as a New Zealand wicketkeeper batsman. BJ Watling was not out on 25 two boundaries, and definitely, as I said, this match definitely going to end up in a draw, but still there'll be some sort of excitement that would be happening. But looking at the bowling figures from the Sri Lankan team here, Dilruwan Perera was specifically selected for this particular test match, 2 for 76 and 1 wicket apiece to Lairo Kumara and the left arm spinner Lasith Embuldania. So that is as far as New Zealand versus Sri Lanka were concerned. Now we get on to the other match, and now we are talking about the India versus West Indies test match. Looking at the India-West Indies test match, this is the first test of the ICC World Test Championship, which was happening at Northstone, Antigua, between India and the West Indies. India batted first, and definitely this pitch definitely helping the quicker bowlers once again here, and definitely Kemar Roche and the other bowler, Shannon Gabriel, definitely took advantage of it to bowl the Indians out for 297. If you look at the Indian card there, KL Rahul making 44 with 5 boundaries. Agarwal was out for 5, Pujara for 2. Virat Kohli could not get in. In fact, India lost 3 wickets pretty quickly. Virat Kohli was out for 9. The bounce doing him in. Ajinkya Rahane was the highest scorer. Ajinkya Rahane played a very, very good innings of really getting the Indian innings to some respectability by knocking 81 with 10 beautifully timed boundaries. Vihari made 32, Pant 24. Jadeja on the second day took the Indian score along, and he ended up with 58 with 6 fours and 1 6. Ishan Sharma 19, Shami not. Jasprit Bumrah was not on 4. India were bowled out for 297. Kemar Roche picked up 4 wickets for 66 with some excellent bowling. 3 for 71 from Shannon Gabriel. 1 wicket to Jason Holder. And Roston Chase, the spinner, chipping in with 2 wickets. West Indies, in reply to India's 297 all out, did not find their bearings at all. They really struggled. The Indian bowlers were all over them, especially Ishan Sharma the other day, coming up with a 3-wicket spell in the evening session and really putting the West Indies on a sort of a real back foot there, where if you look at the West Indian card there, they were bowled out for 222. Looking at the card, Brathwaite was out for 14 with 1 boundary. Campbell making 23. Shamar Brooks was making his test debut, but he looked good at the crease, but he was out for just 11 runs with 1 boundary. Bravo briefly flourished with 18 with 2 fours and 1 6. Chase looked the one who was really getting to grips with the Indian bowlers, and he actually picked up he made the highest score of 48 with 5 boundaries and 1 6. Shai Hope was out for 24. Hetmyer made 35 with 3 boundaries. Holder tried his best, but again he was left with only the tailenders for company. He contributed 39 5 boundaries, and it was his effort and finally that the West Indians could reach 222, thus meaning that India went on to take a lead of 75 runs in the first innings, which was a pretty handy lead at that. 222 all out. So, and as I said, Ishan Sharma picking up a 5-wicket bat, 5 for 43, tremendous bowling from Ishan Sharma. 1 for 55 for Jasprit Bumrah, 2 for 48 Mohammad Shami. Ravindra Jadeja picked up 2 wickets for 64. India in the second day, 75, were really pushed back by the West Indian bowlers, but this time it was the offie Roston Chase who was doing the damage. Roston Chase picked up Mayank Agarwal, who was trying to flick the delivery. He was out. LBW for 16 with 2 boundaries. Rahul making a contribution of 38 before being clean bowled by Chase with 4 boundaries. Pujara was, as you know, Pujara is the rock of the Indian batting, but one has to give credit to Kemar Roach to get a ball which seamed back in and went through a gap of Pujara's bat and pad and knocked off the stumps, and that is something that Kemar Roach can be very proud of, because Cheteshwar Pujara is such a compact batsman who really does not allow, just allows a few errors to happen, and this was one of it, as it was a good delivery from Kemar Roach, really seamed back and knocked off Pujara's stumps. 25 with 1 boundary, and then it was pressure on India, and Virat Kohli, Ajinkya Rahane gushed it out. In fact, they saw of the evening session. They really started digging themselves in, and that's what they precisely did. And finally, when stumps were drawn for the day on the 3rd day, India were placed at 185 for 3, definitely looking in a very sound position right now, with Virat Kohli not out on 51 with 2 boundaries, Ajinkya Rahane not out on 53 with 3 boundaries, and as I said, 2 wickets to Chase and 1 wicket to Kemar Roach. Now India definitely in a very sound position going into the 4th day, that is tomorrow on a Sunday. 260 runs ahead, 7 wickets remaining, and probably India would be eyeing to actually give West Indies a target of 400 runs, and if at all they could actually win this test match, India could get 60 points in the World Test Championships. So India would definitely be looking forward to that. So, but definitely West Indies have to play very well to see and get to a target of 400 runs. It will be interesting to see. Now let's get on to the main thing, and that is the Ashes Test Series. What a test match it is going on. England today have been set a target of 359 runs to win the test match, and they are 156 for 3. They still need 203 runs, but the good news is that the England captain Joe Root is well rooted to the crease right now. He has done a marvellous job. Can he carry it further, or Australia go on to regain the urn? Now, as far as this particular match, the 3rd test of the ICC World Test Championship is concerned, let's have a look one by one. First, let's have a look at Australia. So Australia batted first here at Headingley in Leeds, and Australia actually put up a score. They bowled out for 179. Now Jofra Archer was the chief architect of the Aussie collapse, as Archer showed that not only is his bouncer that could be lethal, but also his overall bowling could be something. He's a sort of a thinking bowler. If you look at his wickets, it was not all about bouncers, it was all about some very good thinking in circumstances and bowling according to the needs of the game. And that's what precisely Warner got into some form finally, the first time ever that David Warner got into some sort of form. He made 61 with 7 boundaries. Labuschagne was the other one. Labuschagne continues to impress, and I think he is totally cementing his spot as the number 4 position in the Aussie team. He has come in sort of a blessing in disguise after Stephen Smith was ruled out due to injury, but Labuschagne has been doing a great job here. He made 74 with 10 boundaries. Other than that, Marcus Harris 8, Usman Khawaja was out for 8, Travis Head out for naught, Matthew Wade not, Tim Payne 11, Pattinson 2, Cummins not, and it was Jofra Archer picking up his maiden 5-wicket haul in Test cricket. What a superb bowler he's turning out to be. 17.1 overs, 3 maidens, 45 runs and 6 wickets. So England in reply, one would have thought after Jofra Archer's exploits and seeing that the Aussies were bowled out for 179, it was easy meat for England, but it was not to be. Tremendous bowling from Josh Hazlewood, almost replicating what Jofra Archer was doing, bowling in the good areas and picking up the wickets. Definitely the England would have not even dreamt of this, as they were bowled out for just 67 runs to give a massive lead to the Aussies in the match of 112 runs. If you look at the card from the Englishman, Rory Burns was out for 9, Jason Roy 9, Joe Root not, In fact, if you look at the score, Joe Denley was the highest scorer with just 12 runs. Ben Stokes 8, Baristo 4, 5 to Butler, Vokes 5, Archer 7, Broad not out 4, Leach was out for 1. And looking at the bowling figures for the Aussies, Hazelwood 5 for 30, Cummins gave him admirable support, 3 for 23, also supported by James Pattinson, 2 for 9. So 112 runs lead in the front. The Aussies in the second innings did a good job, and they were bowled off for 246, thus setting England 359 runs to win, with 2 full days to go in this particular test match. We definitely had rain also following, but nevertheless this match has been going on in an interesting manner. So Australia in the second innings, it was this time it was not Jofra Archer, it was all the other bowlers. Archer only picked up the 2 wickets in the end. Other than that, Harris was out for 19. David Warner collected a blob. This time again Broad taking his wicket for probably, one could say, the 3rd time in the series. Usman Khwaja 23, but Labuschagne once again showing, as I said, impressive consistency from this bloke Labuschagne. Marcus Labuschagne is brave, he's able to guts it out, he's able to really play, just stay at the crease, and definitely his initial forays into international cricket has been something to really talk about. Marcus Labuschagne really, to me, has become the find for Australia in this Ashes series. Labuschagne run out for 80 with 8 boundaries. As we all say, never run off a misfield in Test cricket, and that's what precisely happened. Travis Head out for 25. Matthew Wade made 33. Tim Paine was out for 0. Pattinson was out for 20. Cummins 6. Nathan Lyon 9. And 246 all out, thus setting the Englishmen 359 runs to win the match. Archer 2 for 40, 2 for 52 Broad, 3 for 56 for Ben Stokes, and 1 wicket apiece to Chris Vokes and the spinner Mike Leach. England, as I said, was set 359 runs to win, and they did not have a good start. They lost both the openers pretty quickly in the piece. Rory Burns was sent back by Hazelwood for 7, and Jason Roy was clean bowled by Cummins for 8, and after that it was a sort of a really England with their backs against the wall had to really chisel together a partnership that came in the form of the English captain Joe Root, definitely as I said, rooted himself to the crease. And Joe Denley also did a wonderful job of really defending well and slowly trudging their way as the innings started making a bit of progress. And from 15 for 2, it was a very painstaking partnership at that, but nevertheless it really helped matters as the score moved on to 141. Denley was just dismissed just before close of play on the 3rd day when Hazelwood picked up his wicket, getting him caught behind for 50 with 8 fours, but a very good knock by Joe Denley. Joe Root was there at the crease, not around 75, which had 7 boundaries in that. Stokes showed a lot of maturity and showed a lot of smartness there in not attempting any strokes at all, and eking out just 2 runs after facing 50 balls. Ben Stokes is someone who one would always feel is a naturally an aggressive player, but he really decided to stay put at the crease. And so that's the match situation. 203 more runs to get, but one can't say that Australia are. One can definitely say Australia are closer to regain the urn, but let's not forget that the Englishmen still have some batting to come. Joe Root is absolutely rooted to the crease. We have Stokes at the crease. We have Baristo to come, Butler to come, Vokes, Archer, Broad and Leach. So definitely England would still. I would probably still say that this game is even Stevens with 203 runs to get. But what a marvellous 4th day which is coming up tomorrow, which will decide whether the Aussies regain the urn or whether England go on to knock out Australia and level the series. Cummins at 1 for 33, 2 for 35 for Josh Hazelwood, Other than that, there's nothing that I would be in a position to really go through. And I think really time is becoming constrained. But just to just to um, say some news which Pakistan finally is going to see some taste of international cricket, with Sri Lanka agreeing to tour Pakistan to play, I reckon, test matches and one day internationals, if I'm not wrong. But that is something that I need to confirm. Other than that, Lancashire have actually released one of the talented openers. He has been a sort of a riddle. We are talking about Hamid. I think it was Hamid we are talking about, who was a very good player. He was playing for Lancashire. If I'm not wrong, his name is Hamid Hassan, but probably I'm not able to catch that name right now. Nevertheless, you can always look at me on Twitter, on my Twitter page, and also my cricket website, www. Cricket status, cricket hyphen status.com. Dear fans and subscribers, as I said, I'm not able to do the daily cricket show, as you all know, but it's a weekly roundup that I'm doing right now. Hope you all enjoyed this broadcast of mine. With my next broadcast, which is due to come tomorrow, that's on a Sunday during the weekend. We have 3 test matches, which is on the precipice as far as the 4th day is concerned, and I'll be very pleased to bring out the cricket developments for you that happens there. Until then, if at all you want to still get in touch with me, get onto my cricket Twitter page and also to my cricket website. This being said, it's about time for me to bid you all a very good night.